Okay, hello everybody. Let me just change something here. Okay, hello everybody. My name is Professor Claster. Why is it looking like this for me? Okay, my name is Professor Claster, and this is Introduction to Programming. Does everyone agree with that? That is, does everyone agree that this is Introduction to Programming? Okay, welcome to the class and welcome to the online version of the class. And as most of you know, this is the second semester where we're doing things online. I haven't taught this class online yet. This is a kind of a different class, right? Because we have to do this is a kind of a lab class. So we have to think of it a little bit differently than a lecture class. But still, I think it will work out okay. Many years ago, probably about the time that you guys were born, I used to teach at Stanford University online in a kind of a special program that they had, this special online program that they had. And I did that quite a lot for a while. So I got used to online teaching a long time ago. And I've been doing it. I've been sort of making videos, actually, a lot since then. But of course, at APU, we just started online classes last semester. So anyway, I welcome you all to the class, and I hope that you get a lot out of it. Most of the programming classes at APU, we learn a programming language called VB.NET. VB.NET. But in our class, we are learning a different language. We're learning a language called Python. So Python is very popular. It's the most popular for many different uses, especially in a field that I'm involved in, which is called data science. It's it is, I guess, the most, I hate to admit it because I use a different language most of the time called R, but I think Python is actually the most popular language for data science, and I think it may be the overall most popular language. And the reason really that it's popular is because it's easy. But I mean, some languages are easy, but you can't really do much with them. But with Python, it's easy and you can do a lot. In fact, you could probably do more in general than you can with other languages. And yet, it's one of the easiest languages there is. So easy means that you can write something quickly that will do a lot. And you can write it easily and do a lot. So that's why it's popular. And you know, the big data companies like Google and Facebook, they've been using, and banks and so on, they've been using Python for a long time. At least the last 10 years, they switched to Python. So it's very popular, very useful, and should be relatively easy. So just for a short, I'm not going to require you to have your screens on all the time, but sometimes I will ask you to turn your screen on, and I'll do it right now just so I can see who's here, what students we have. So can you turn your videos on for a while so we can just see, sort of get an idea of the real world here. I'm sure everybody wants to know which of their friends or potential friends or whatever are in the class. So let's just say hello to everybody. Now, it's going to take a long time if we actually introduce ourselves, so I don't think I'll do that. I've done that in our regular classes. I've done that, but it's kind of, it would take a long time to do that, so I don't think I should really do it. So you can just wave to each other instead. You can just wave. You can just wave to everybody. So anyway, okay. So let's see. But actually, let's have. We could do it. Can you do a? How do we do that? You can do a reaction. Can you give if you've? Let's see. Let's have a little. I guess we should have a poll here. Let's do a poll. No, let's just do a reaction. How many people have, if you've studied any programming language before, just wave or what are the actions they have? Thumbs up or clap or whatever. Let's see how many people have studied any programming language, like you have any idea of what programming is. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I don't see too many. So most of you haven't even studied anything, right? You're novices. Okay. Okay, and let me include, I don't know if you would include HTML as a programming language. How many people have studied HTML? Let's see, raise a hand, do a reaction for that. How many people have studied HTML? 1. I see only 1. Okay. Okay, so we are novices, as we say. Okay, beginners. Okay, all right. So, well, actually, I think in that case it might be, should we do it? Anyway, we might even study a little bit of HTML just as a quick introduction, but I think I'll start with Python as a quick introduction. It's basically as easy as HTML. So let me go to, where is it? Let me share my screen. Just a second. Let me share my screen and show you on Manaba, which you should be able to access now. It should be in your list of courses. And let's look at that, but I'll just show you mine. So share my screen and Manaba here. Okay, so you can see Manaba, which you should be able to access yourself. And it's called Programming Cluster Fall 2020. And down at the bottom, I have, under the resources, I have sites. So I'm going to open that up. And I have a bunch of sites here, quite a few really, that are different kinds of sites that we might use some of them. So there is a site called Coursera, which I think we're going to use. And I don't know how many people have seen this site before, but let's open it up. I think what I'll do is I'll open it in a private browser, so I don't log in to my own account. So I'll just type in Coursera. It's coursera.org. So I guess you don't need to do this yet because there's a specific page I want you to go to. So let's just wait. But in Coursera, there are a number of different websites like this where they offer many courses. Coursera was started by a woman and I guess somebody else at Stanford University, and they kind of went and captured like the best schools. They tried to only allow the best schools to present courses here. So I actually wanted to put a course in here myself, but I haven't really pushed it, but I don't know if I could get it because I don't know if APU is considered one of the best schools or not. But you can see that they have a lot of, they have some Ivy League schools and so on. Anyway, they have a lot of courses here. I don't know how many, but many, many. And you can take courses. You can take groups of courses that are all based on a certain topic. And you can even get degrees here. And you can pay a lot for those degrees. But probably less than a typical university, but you can, it's still pretty expensive to get a degree. And then when you want to take a course here, just a single course, they usually, what they do is they group a bunch of courses together, like they'll have a kind of a Python group of courses. They have actually many different Python groups, but you'll find like a Python group, and within there, there'll usually be like 5 courses. And then, so if you want to take one of the courses, there's 2 options. You can do it for free, or you can do it where you pay and then you actually get a certificate. And they usually give you a few extra resources if you do it, if you pay. And the payment, I think it's like 5,000 yen per month. And then you can finish it whenever you finish it. Anyway, so we are going to probably use 2 of these courses. Maybe we won't use the whole, all of it, or we might not stick with it, but we'll use some of it. But you don't need to pay for the way we're going to use it. You can pay. You'll get a few extra resources there, and you can also get a certificate. Usually if you pay, you don't pay for a single course, you're paying for like the group, one group of courses, one kind of specialization, I think they call it. And so then you would finish the whole specialization and get a certificate. So let's look for, everybody open this up and look for Python for everybody. So let's type that in, Python for everybody, because we are going to use this course. But I want to show you, I want to make sure you know how to register for it, because if you do it the wrong way, they're going to start charging you. Like they'll give you 7 days, they do this trick where they say 7 days free, and then they're going to start charging you. And I don't, I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine with me, but you don't, that's not what, it's not necessary for our course. So I want to make sure that you don't register the wrong way. So don't register yet, unless you feel like paying, then you can register. So anyway, let's just look it up. So here it is, Python for everybody. And see, you can see here there's a specialization, and then this is just part of that specialization. So I'm going to click on the specialization just to show you how to go from the specialization to a particular course. So I'll click on specialization. I'm sorry, Python for everybody specialization. So can everybody get there? If you can't get there, please say something now. If you can't get there, please say something. Okay. All right. Now it says that there are already 843,000 people enrolled in this course. So let's say only 1% of them actually paid, which might be a realistic statistic. So that's what 8,000 people have paid 5,000 yen, or $50 is what? How much is that? 50,000. What is that? Like $40,000, right? Is that right? I think so. A lot of money for that course. So they're making a lot of money on this. Anyway, regardless of that, you can see here it says courses. Okay, so that's what we want to click. We want to isolate just one of the courses from the whole specialization. So you click on courses, and now you can see there's course 1, course 2, course 3, course 4. You can see the instructor, and he's a really nice guy, actually. And so we are going to use this at the beginning. We're going to use course 1 at the beginning of our course. And we can click on that. And now, so let me see what happens if I click on this. So be careful, don't do it yourself. I don't want you to do it the wrong. It doesn't matter. Like you could make a mistake and then like that in it, and then you could always use a different email address to do it the right way. But anyway, let's see. Okay, so here they ask you to create a username, or your name and email and password. So I'll just make a fake one right now. Fake. Okay. Oops, sorry. Because I already registered and I don't want to do it, but I just want to show you what happens. Now, let's see if it lets me do that. So now it wants me to do this. Okay, so there. Okay. No, that doesn't seem to be what I want. Oh, here. Okay, oh yeah. Okay, so now this shows up. So after you log in with your email, then this shows up. Okay, and here's where it's trying to get you to do the 7-day free trial. Well, if you do that, then they're going to start asking you to pay after that. Okay, so that's not what I want to do. So this little thing down here is what they're, obviously they don't want you to use this very often, but that's what we want to use, the audit. Okay, so you click on audit, and then you can use the class. So they ask you to tell about yourself or whatever, but anyway, so here it is. Okay, so let me show you a little bit about it. So we can see that there's 7 weeks here. Now, I think they approximate that you're only going to spend like an hour a week. So that's 7 weeks. But I would say we could finish this in 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks at the most. Okay, because it's 1 hour a week is not enough. So anyway, you can see that there are weeks here. There's grades. Now, I don't think you would get a grade unless you pay, but I might be wrong about that. Here, there are notes you can take. You can leave notes for yourself. There's a discussion forum. Let's check that. So this is a discussion forum for week 1. And I guess you can go to the forum. There's, I guess, general discussion, meet and greet, week 1, week 2, week 3. And then if you want to go to week 1, I guess you can click here, or you can click up here. Let's just see what's in there. So they have some questions about, people have questions about how to use it, or topics there, and you can see the replies, and you can get some help here. And I don't think that you have to be paying to participate here. Okay, and going back, let's see the general discussion. So I don't know what these are, but these are not specific to a particular chapter, and so you can ask questions there. Okay, and then there are messages and resources. So here are some PDFs, which is basically going to be the topics for each chapter. So you can look at them, I guess, like this. Yeah. But there are a lot of videos, and I guess what he does is he goes through and explains these these PDFs in the video. So I'll go back to here. And what else is there? Book chapters and course info. What's that? Okay, so here's the teacher and so on. So let's just go to the overview again. And let's go to week 1 and see now. You can see that there's a forum up here. And then here's something. And then you can see here that there's a video, which is 4 minutes. And then there's a reading, which they approximate takes about 10 minutes. And then there's a video, which is 1 minute, and a reading, which is 10 minutes, and a reading, which is 10 minutes, and another reading, which is 10 minutes, and submitting an assignment is also 10 minutes. So, and lecture materials, why program? I guess that's the, separate video. Yeah. And then additional material, there's another reading, audio versions of all the lectures, I don't know. And video, and this. Okay, so let's take a look at his introduction. And hopefully you can hear if you can't hear the video, let me know. Let me know. Here, in fact, I'll just test it. Let's see. Okay, ready? I'll ask you if you can hear this. Can you hear that? No? You can't hear it. Did I share my screen incorrectly? Let me try it again. I thought I did it properly. Let's try it again. Share screen. Share computer sound. Let me try it again.
Clinical professor at the University of Michigan School of Information, and I'm your instructor for this
Can you
course.
hear it?
This course.
Yes, Professor, we can hear it.
Okay. Okay. So let's just listen to this. It's 4 minutes. So let's watch that.
Hello, my name is Charles Severance. I'm a clinical professor at the University of Michigan School of Information, and I'm your instructor for this course. This course is a little different than every programming course that I've ever taught or I've ever taken. This course is dedicated to the notion that every single person on the planet needs to be able to write programs and can write programs. You do not have to have a bunch of math. I do not expect math. I do not expect that you've taken any other programming classes. I don't expect you to know anything about computers. I think no matter what your background is, you can program. That's why it's called Programming for Everybody. I have a couple of goals. Certainly I want to teach you how to program, but actually what I really want to do is teach you how to take a programming class, because it turns out that most of the other programming classes in the world are kind of difficult. They sort of assume way too much, and the teachers sort of don't even realize how much they're expecting from students. And so when you're done with this class, you can go and take another beginning class. And that way you have this as an on-ramp to all of your programming activity. And so I'm really excited that you're here. Another thing that I want to do is I want to teach you how to be a mentor. I want to teach you how to be a teacher of programming. So I want you to take all my ideas and I want you to help the next person. And the reason is that learning how to program is a little sort of foggy, uncomfortable, you get stuck on things. And those things aren't hard, I assure you. But when you're stuck on them, they feel really hard. And the best way to get unstuck is get some help from somebody. And if they're sitting right next to you and they can go, oh, look, you just got to like add 2 spaces and it's fine. And you're like, oh, that saved me a lot of time. So I want you to be willing to help somebody else. Another thing that's important to me is that I want to create more teachers, whether they're at universities or community colleges or high schools or even middle schools or in professional situations. I have given you all of the materials for this course at a website. They're all licensed under Creative Commons, the slides, the auto graders. I want you to, in a sense, adopt this textbook and then use my teaching kit so that you can become a teacher of this material. Because I don't think that I'm naturally the only teacher of this. And in particular, if you don't speak English as your first language, you might want to teach this class in your native language. And so that's another reason that I give you these materials with a free and open copyright, that you can take them, you can translate them in your language, into your language. The book has been translated into several languages, and that's really exciting. And those books that have been translated are usually free and available. You can get print copies that are very inexpensive, and all the e-copies are free. And so this notion that I create this kit, that you can then change the kit. You don't have to just take my class, you can change it and you can make it work for you locally. And really, the overall goal of this is more than just like teaching you one programming class. I think that the entire technology marketplace, and to some degree all of business in general, is becoming increasingly technical. And too many people, young, old, regardless of education, are shut out of this sort of club where you need to know something about technology. And so that's why we're programming for everybody, regardless of geography, regardless of ability to pay, regardless of if you have any disabilities. I want programming for everybody to be everybody. I want to just expand forever the number of people who are capable of programming. I'm creating an open, self-sustaining ecosystem and have you be part of that self-sustaining ecosystem. So again, welcome to the class. I look forward to what you do, and I look forward to seeing you throughout the class.
Okay, so you can see that. And by the way, down here they have the whole transcript of what he said. So that's also nice. Okay, so let's see the reading. So go through this reading, and I'll be back in just about 2 or 3 minutes. And so let's see. Does everybody have? Okay, so I want you to sign in, like I just did, and then go through this reading. Find this course and go through this reading. Remember, it's called Python for Everybody. And go through this reading, and I'll come back in just a minute. Okay. All right. Now, what I want to do is just to make sure that everybody is okay with that. I'm going to just a very quick, let's say 2 minutes, where I'm going to put you in breakout groups, and just so you can, make sure that if you had trouble, somebody else can, like he said in the video. Usually, the things that make us get stuck in programming are really simple, but it's like impossible to find them. Like you forgot a space somewhere, and you have, maybe you've written maybe 5 lines of code, and there's one space missing. You're not going to find it. I mean, you'll find it, but it's tricky. It's difficult. But somebody else say, "Oh, you just find." They see it quickly, so it's useful to have other people. So let's have a breakout rooms, and make sure that everybody can do what we've done so far. So basically find the course and create an account and not pay for it. So I'll put you into the breakout rooms right now. But it's just going to be, let's say 2 to 3, well, I'll say 3 minutes just to make sure everybody. And, it's just an informal group. You don't have to do anything special, but maybe if anybody's having any trouble, you can help them out.
Professor.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Is there
Good.
anything that you want
Right
to do
today, there's nothing too special, but I do want you to do some stuff. I forget what I want you to do. But anyway, I'd like to meet and talk about it. What we should do, not right now because I actually can't remember right now. But there is some stuff that I want you to do in this class, and also there's some special program where you can so that you can get paid for this. And so I'm waiting for some email from the school about it. They said they would send it yesterday, but they didn't. So maybe today they're going to send it, and then you can go through, or I'll give them your name and whatever. They'll probably contact you, and then so you'll be paid for this, and you'll be an official TA.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when should we meet for the discussion?
Let's do that Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Sorry, Professor. I just got dropped out because of internet connection. Can you?
Actually, I want to close all the rooms now. Sorry.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So were you able to register for the class?
Yes, I
Okay,
did.
that's fine. So Thursday, okay? Okay. Okay, so is everybody back yet?
Yeah.
10 seconds. Okay, so if anybody still is not registered for that class, can you, let me see, let me stop sharing. Okay, can you raise your hand if you're still not, one person, Karina. Karina, where are you, Karina? Let's see, Karina.
I'm here.
Ah, okay, so you tried to, but it didn't work?
No, I meant like in my Manaba, like there's no programming class.
Oh, really?
But like when I checked my campus mate, I
Right.
am registered there. It's just not
Ah,
on my Manaba. And I
okay,
got
all right.
like the Outlook emails as well.
You did, yeah. Oh, you got the Outlook email?
Yeah, but it's just not on my Manaba.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll work on that later. Anybody else have that problem? Okay. Well, we'll work on that later, maybe after class, okay? Or maybe the TA can, well, anyway, we'll have to see about that. Okay. Oh, wait, somebody said they can't see the audit. Oh, can you speak up? Who said that? Oh, okay.
Professor B.
Yeah, so what do you mean? You didn't see the audit link?
No, it doesn't come up on my screen. The only thing that I see is enroll for free, and then I don't see like the little audit cost thing that everybody's talking about.
Ah. Have you used Coursera before? No. Okay, well, maybe somebody can work with you on that in the next group. We might have another group breakout. So see if somebody can work with you on that, or we can, the TA can do that with you. Okay, let's see how that works.
Professor,
Yes?
as for group, you didn't allow screen sharing, so we couldn't share screens in the group.
Ah, I didn't even know I needed to do that or anything like that, but yeah, you're right. How do I do that? Let's see, if I go to here, how do I do that? Multiple consent. Ah, maybe I should do that from now on. I didn't think of that ever before. Okay, that's a good idea. So you couldn't see each other's screens.
Yes.
Ah, okay. That's not very helpful if you can't see the other person's screen. Okay, so I just changed that now. Hopefully, we can try that again. Anybody else? Okay, so let me go back and let's see. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, I do want to go through a little more of his lectures, but at the same time, I want to show you some other things. So I'm going to go to something else right now. Maybe we'll come back to this lecture in a minute. So let me share my screen again with audio. Okay, so here's another site that I'd like to use, and that is, you go to w3schools.com. Now, I forgot to put this on the list in Manaba. I should have put this there, but anyway, W3 Schools. So go there. Now, this is really an old site, but I think it's very good. It's really good for learning certain things, like it's very good for learning HTML and CSS. So HTML is like to make a web page, and CSS is to make a fancier web page. And it's very good for that. And you can, does everyone get to this, w3schools.com? Okay, up here. Okay, so you can learn HTML here and CSS. You can learn JavaScript. You can learn programming, Python, Java, C++, all this stuff, making, I don't know, other things here too. So anyway, I'm going to go to this Python. So it's a Python tutorial, and you can, let's see, they have learning by example, and then this tutorial also. So I guess I'll go to the, yeah, I'll go to the tutorial. So I'll click on that. And then they tell us about Python. They say it was created by this guy and was created in 1991. And it can be used for web development, software development, mathematics, and other things. And okay, so we have an example here. Is everyone with me?
Yes,
And
Professor.
what?
Yes, Professor.
Okay. And then, oh, by the way, the TA, one of the things that the TA is going to do is record your responses when I ask questions, so the people who answer questions will get some credit towards their final grade for participating in the class. Okay? And we'll start that next week. Okay, but anyway, let's, so this is the first example of Python code. So can everybody read that? Can somebody read it out loud to me?
Print hello world.
Right. Print hello world. Okay, so everyone see that? Okay, and can everyone see there's different colors there? So what are the colors that you see there?
Blue and red.
Blue and red. Okay, blue and red. Okay. So that is Python code. So, you know, code means like language, but, you know, in order for it to work, it has to be, you know, Python is kind of stupid and smart at the same time. So it's stupid in the sense that you can't just say anything to it. You have to write it in a very clear way, you know, and otherwise Python won't understand it. So this is written in the right way for Python to understand what it's supposed to do. All right? So, so let's try it. So click try it yourself. Okay. Now, what we have here, and this is kind of typical for all, for many situations, is we have the Python code and then what it gives us after it runs. So which screen has the Python code, do you think?
The white one.
The white one. And which has the result after the code is run?
The one on the right.
Yeah, the one on the right, the black one, right? So in other words, this produces this. Does everyone get that? So if you type this in Python, then what you're trying to get is this, and you will get this. Okay, does everyone get that? So how do you think you would, suppose I wanted to say, hello APU. Try to edit the code that is in the white window. Try to edit it so that it will print out hello APU. How do you think you will do that?
Change the world, replace it with APU.
Yeah, so everybody try and do it. See if you can do it. And what you have to do after you change it, you have to click the run button, the green run button. So see if you can make it say hello APU. Okay, is there anybody who didn't get it? Is there anybody who didn't get it? Okay, you did it. You made a Python program. I mean, it's not a very complicated one, but you made a Python program. Okay, you said you did this, I suppose, APU, and then you did run, and hopefully you get that. Okay, so that is Python. That's what Python is about. Now, it obviously, doesn't do anything too interesting, but you have to learn the basics before you can do things that are interesting. Okay, let's go to the next one. How do we get to the next one? Let's see, what's this? Change theme, change orientation, open menu. Let's try this, open menu. No. So, we can just close this. This thing hides my screen, I can't see it. Okay, I can close this and go back to here, I guess. Okay, and so I'm back to this page where it says try it yourself, but we did that already. So I'm going to click next. Okay, so the next thing is we want to check to see whether you have Python installed on your own computer. So I think people who have Mac might have Python already installed. Otherwise, you probably don't. So what you do is, they say, you open up, let's see, you open up the command line, or on Mac, you open up the terminal and you type Python, and actually you don't even need this part here. You can just type Python. So first of all, what does that mean? So everybody, this is the scariest part of programming, I think, is, well, at least it was confusing for me, at least at the beginning. They said, open up a command line. And that is like, what is that about? So I forget how to do it in Mac. It's not called command line, it's called terminal. Does anybody here have a Mac? Must be. Does anybody have a Mac?
Me.
Me. Okay. Do you know who said that? Me.
That's me, Ari.
What's your name?
Ari.
Aria. Okay, Ari. Yeah, Ari. So I have a question. Do you know how to get the terminal?
No, actually.
Okay. Any other Mac users?
Oh, I'm the Mac user. You just
Okay,
search.
maybe, you know what, you could try, I think, are you allowed to share your screen?
Okay, I can share my screen.
Can you share your screen or not?
Yeah, I can.
Can you do it and show us on Mac how to open the terminal?
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know if we can see it.
Are you guys allowed to see it?
I can't see it. Maybe I have to stop sharing my screen. Let me try that. Hold on. I'll stop sharing mine. Now I think I can see it.
All right, can everyone see it? I think you're just going to type like terminal.
Or you just type terminal.
Yeah.
Does everyone, all the Mac users see that?
And here you go.
Great. All the Mac users see that? Now this is what's so great about online teaching. is this part of online teaching is really great, like, because it's really easy to see, you know, in this kind of thing where people can get stuck, we can easily share our screens, and it's really great. This part of online teaching is great. So, so anyway, can everybody see, everybody, especially Mac users, see how, can you do that once more just to show again from scratch? Yeah.
So you just go search like here, like terminal, and press enter, and it will just pop up.
Okay, that's great. Now, what they told me to do is type in, to see if you have Python on a Mac, you would now just type in Python. Let's see, type in Python. And what does it say? Warning is not recommended. Anyway, it looks like you have Python. Yeah, you do. So I think you might have version 2.7, but you do have it. All right, now let me go back and share my screen. So
All right.
let's see, I think you have to maybe stop sharing yours. Okay, great. That was great. Okay, now I will share my screen. And so for the Windows users, what you do is you go and you search for the command prompt. So I think you can probably, let's see, if you look here, you might find it. No, it doesn't show up there. But if you type in the search, does anybody not have Windows 10? There's another way to do it, but I'll do it this way. So here, COMMAND, command. And a similar kind of application that we just saw on Mac is called the command prompt. It shows up here, and you get that. So how about the Mac user? I'm sorry, how about the Windows users? Is there anybody who has not found their command prompt? Because there's another, if you don't have Windows 10, there's another way to do it. I think the other way to do it is you type run, yeah, and then you type here, you open up run, which looks like that, and then you type CMD, I think, and click OK. Let's see. Yeah, same thing. Okay? Okay, does everyone see that? All right, now what it tells us to do is type Python again. So probably for Mac, Windows users, you don't have it installed automatically. So for Mac users, Mac generally comes installed with Python, I think, but Windows does not. But let's just check. Now on mine, I already installed it, so I will have it, but you probably don't. It's probably going to say, I don't know what that means. Probably going to say Python, I don't understand that command. Okay, but for mine, it's not going to say that. It's going to say there. Okay, so that's okay. You don't have it in, you haven't installed it yet, so we want to install it. Okay, so yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
It takes us to the Microsoft Store and asks us to download it.
Don't do that yet,
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I want to do it the way he does it in the videos in that class. Actually, yeah, I don't know, there's some slight differences, like, and let's just try and stick to the way he does it. Although probably doing it using the Microsoft Store is probably better, but I just want to do it the way he does it. Okay, so let's not do that. Okay, now when you do finally get Python installed, then you'll see something like what I have here, right? Does everyone see what I have here? Now let me type that, print hello APU, and like that. Okay, can everyone see what I wrote? Print hello APU, right? Now let's see what happens when I hit enter. Okay, can you see that? So it does the same thing that W3 schools, this is doing, the same thing, right? So you'll have your own Python installed. So they have Python installed in their website, and so they can generate, hello APU onto their website when you type that. But now you can do it directly on your own computer once you get it installed. All right, does this make sense? Okay. Now, how do I know that Python is installed? Because it doesn't say, I don't understand what you just typed. When I type Python up here, it doesn't say I'm confused. What are you talking about Python? I never heard of that. It doesn't say that. It says, oh, you have Python 3.8.5. And then it gives me, do you see these 3 arrows here? See those 3 arrows? Now, there used to be a gasoline stand in the United States called Chevron. I don't know if they still have it. Chevron Gas. Chevron Gas. And let's see if I can find the images. Okay, so Chevron Gas looks like this. That's their logo. Okay, and so there's like these 2 arrows here. And this thing, this triple arrow is called, in Python they call it the chevron. Okay, so when you see the chevron, it means you can type Python code. So let me, like I just did, I just typed print hello APU, and it worked. Now, if I want to quit that, if I want to get out of that, you can type QUIT and brackets like that. And that will take me away from the chevron prompt. So watch. Now I'm back to what I started with, which was up here. Same thing as up here, I'm back there. Now, just to make sure you understand, if I type this, print hello APU, what's going to happen now?
It will give error because it doesn't understand.
Yeah, it's going to be error because I'm not talking to Python now. Right? To talk to Python, I have to load up Python. And the way you load up Python in the command prompt is to type Python first so that you get the three arrows here, the chevron. So only when you're at the chevron, basically, is when you can type Python. And the way to get the chevron is to, like we just did. Okay, so this is not going to work. So if I hit enter, ready, 1, 2, 3, enter. Doesn't know what I'm talking about. Okay, and it doesn't do what I wanted. All right, does everyone get this idea? Okay, so this is called the command prompt, and we should learn how to use this a little bit, and also the terminal. Now, if you want to know, for example, can everyone see what I have here? What can you read this? Somebody read this to me.
Users will
Yeah. C:/users/Willie, right?
Yes.
And what is that Willie?
That's your name.
Yes, that's right. My name is William Claster. So that's my, that's one of the folders in my computer. So if you don't believe me, I'll open up my computer folder system, which of course you know how to do. So I'll open that up, okay? And if I go to C, now what do I go to after C?
Users.
Users down here. And you can see I have a folder called Willie, right? Okay, now, can you tell me something that's in this folder?
Desktop.
What?
Desktop?
Desktop. Okay, desktop is in there. Good. And desktop is obviously a folder or a directory, right?
Yes.
And then this is not a folder. This is a file. Okay? So Willie has lots of stuff in it, right? Just like I'm sure your folder has lots of stuff in it, right? Okay, now if I want to go back to here, I'm currently at C users Willie. So if you want to know what's in this folder, Willie, of course I already know what's in there. But if you want to know it from here, you can type the command directory. Actually, you don't type directory, you type dir. Now on Mac, it's different. On Mac, I think you type ls for list. But here you can type dir. So if I type dir, what am I going to see?
Everything.
I'm going to see all the same stuff. I'm going to see desktop and all these other files. Okay, that's what I see here. So you can see desktop. Here, desktop is a directory. Okay, so everyone see that? And here you can see there are a bunch of files, right? So that was one command, the dir command. So there are a bunch of commands that are handy when you're using this command prompt. And you can just look up on the internet. You can just look up command prompt commands. You'll find lists of commands and whatever. You find just information about how to do that. Okay, so one more I'll mention now, and that is if I want to go to like a different folder or a different directory. Right now I'm in Willie. If I want to move to a different one, there's a command called change directory. But you don't write out change directory, you write CD. So, but you don't just do that, you have to do CD and then ... So that's the way you do it. CD ... Now you can look up these commands on Google. You can see how to do all kinds of stuff. But one thing you can do is you can go up one directory in the directory hierarchy. So, C is at the top, then users, then Willie. And if I want to go back up, I can go back up to users by using CD ... So ready? I'll hit enter. Okay, but anyway, there's many, or at least there's a couple different useful commands that you can learn to navigate this. Now, one more thing. Now, if I want to go back down, okay. So now if I want to go back down to Willie, I can do this. Watch this. This is kind of cute. CD. I think this is right. I forget. W. The worst thing about Python, the worst thing about programming for old people like me, not like you, is that you forget everything. So I can't remember things that I even knew, yesterday. But anyway, okay, so let's go CD, WILLI. Does that work? I'm not sure. Let's see. Yes. Okay, now I'm back to C users Willie. Okay, everyone get that? So that's good. And now one more thing, and that is, let me do the dir again, dir. So these are the files in my directory, files and folders. Now one of the files is, let's see, Do I have any PDFs here? No. I don't have any PDFs. Anyway, suppose I had a PDF called my PDF.pdf. Suppose I had that file in there, which I don't. But if you want to view a file, you can just type its name if you're in the directory where it's located. And then it would just bring it up like a regular PDF on your screen. Okay, and I don't have that file, so it doesn't work. And I don't see any really good files to read in this particular directory. So I can't really do it. I mean, I could do this log, but I don't know what that is. So forget it. But okay, and one more good thing, one more good thing is, one good thing about these kind of command prompts is that you don't have to retype things that you've already typed. You just hit the up arrow on your keyboard. So you know what I mean by the up arrow, right? I mean, here's my keyboard, and I mean this thing there, the up arrow. So if you just hit that, watch what happens. Hit it once, dir. Hit it twice, cd willy. Hit it 3 times, c dot dot. These are the commands that I typed, dir. So you don't have to retype everything. You can just use the up arrow and the down arrow. Okay, so that's kind of nice. All right, anyway, that's just about the command line. And that's useful because sometimes for, not for typical Python programming, but sometimes you might need to use the command line to just do a few certain things that you don't do directly within Python. You're doing it like about your computer, not about Python. Like you have to install something related to Python. You can't do that from within Python usually. So you have to do it like here. This is not in Python. This is just my regular computer system I'm accessing. Okay, anyway, let's stop with that. And let's watch what he says. Let's go to the next thing. Oh, let's watch this interview with let's just watch this interview. Can you hear that? Now, we're not going to stick with this Coursera the whole time, but I do want to go through I want you to go through week 1. So we're going to start that now.
I'm Guido van Rossum. I created the Python language. I've worked on Python for 25 years, and I've worked with a large group of others, of course, in the Python community. I'm very excited to see you all in this class, and I'm very proud that you're using my language to learn. Python is just the first step you are setting on the path to programming. There are many exciting things to learn in programming, many that you can learn using Python, many that you can learn using other things, and you won't be alone. There will be millions of people who have gone before you or who are learning Python at the same time as you, and you can help each other and you can learn together.
Okay, so he was the guy who developed Python. So, you know, there are many other languages, right? There's Java, there's a language called C, there's a language called C++, there's many languages. Language just means somebody put together a bunch of what do I want to call them? Can't think of the right word. But, you know, like the print statement and another statement and another. So a bunch of statements that you can write that will do certain things for you. And that's basically what a language is. Okay? So let's go on. More readings. So you can take a survey here, which would be nice because we're able to take this class for free. So you might want to just help them out by taking the survey. And then welcome to Python. Okay. So here, so one important thing we have to know about is that there are different versions of Python. So when we saw one of our students showed us the Mac, we saw that that student had a version 2 point something. Now you might think, oh, it doesn't really matter that much. And generally the version that you're using doesn't matter too much. But for Python, the difference between any version 2 point anything and 3 point anything is kind of important. It's significant. And if you're using 2 point something and you think you're using 3 point something, you're going to make it's not going to work, and vice versa. So people are, you know, version 3 has been around for a long time, but people didn't use it. But now basically everybody is moving to version 3. So even last semester I taught version 2, even though version 3 has been around for at least 10 years. Because most people use version 2 up until maybe a year or two ago. But now everybody's using version 3, and it's better. So we should use version 3. So we want to make sure. So if you have version 2 already installed, you also want to have version 3. Now, one thing that's different between version 2, Python 2, and Python 3 is this is what we typed before, right? But this is the way you would do the same thing in Python 2. So what's the difference in this case between what you would do in Python 2 versus 3?
The bracket.
Yeah, the parentheses. Python 3 requires the parentheses. Now, I think, yeah, in Python 2, you can use parentheses and it will work. But in Python 3, you have to use parentheses. Okay? Okay, so also there's another function. So these are called functions. Print is called a function. And whenever you have a bracket and another bracket, the name before that is a function. So the print is a function. And here we have a bracket and a bracket. This is a function, raw input. So so we had, instead of what used to be called raw input, in Python 3 we have input. So that's another change. So you don't even know what this means, but I'm just saying that it's different. Okay? So that's fine. Now, next reading is that he has the book. So you can get it on, you can pay for it, or you can get it for free. If you want to help the author, you can pay for it. But we're not going to be using the whole book, so it's up to you. You can download all of the sample code. So, you know, he's going to teach us code. And, you know, you could copy and paste that code, I guess, from here. But you can also download all of the code. So let's just go to that site and see what it looks like. So I don't know. There's an audio archive. I guess you can use, I don't know, maybe we could put this on Manaba, but I don't think so. Sample code zip here. Sample code is here, this in a zipped file. Okay, so you can download it all, and then you don't have to copy and paste from the web page. Okay, but let's go back to there. And let's go on. And then textbook, we just did that, I think. And then here, submitting assignments. So he has this way to use your code. So I'm not going to go through this now, but I want you to check this later. Okay? So go through this, because I would go through that, but I also want to go to let's see. I want to go to here, here, here. Okay. Anyway, maybe it's week 2 that I want to go to. Week 2. Yeah. Week 2 is installing and using Python. So he gives very nice instructions about how to install Python on Windows and how to install it on Mac, and I think maybe even Linux, I'm not sure. And so I would like to do that together though. How much time do we have now? We only have 7 minutes. So we don't have much time to do that. So maybe we won't do that today. Let's go back to this here. Well, now they're going to tell us to install it and tell you how to install it. So we saw that already. Let's go to, and we did it, hello world, we already did that. And we did the command line, a little, well, we didn't really, but let's go next. So this tutorial at W3 Schools, you don't need to have Python installed on your own computer to go through the tutorial. Of course, we are going to definitely install Python on our computers and use it regularly. But when you go through this tutorial, you don't need to do that. Of course, you could just copy any statement that they're using in the tutorial and you could put it into your Python that you have installed on your computer and you could run it there as well. But you don't need to. They have it set up here, so you don't need to have Python here. Okay, so next thing they say is about Python indentation. So indentation is this. So we have if here, and then print is indented. Does everyone see that? So in most languages, programming languages, indentation is not necessary. It makes it easier to read when you indent things, right? If you say this and then as a subset of this statement, I'm using this, and you indent it, it makes it easier to read. But you don't have to. But in Python, you have to. So they force you to indent. If you don't, you'll get an error. For example, let's just try that on my computer to see that we actually get an error. So let's try this. So how do I get Python to run here?
You should type Python.
I type Python. Okay, now let's try this statement. I'll just copy it. I don't know what it means. I mean, we don't know what it means, but I'll just type. Oh, by the way, copy and paste is very tricky in the command prompt. Now, I think you can go up to here and right click and go to edit and paste. That's okay, that works. Okay, but generally it's tricky. Now, let me hit the enter key. I'm not sure if this will even work, but let me hit the enter key. Okay, so it allows me to continue. It has those 3 dots which says, okay, I realize that your code is not finished yet. Now, if I just put in this, it's going to give me an error. If I just paste in this, it's going to give me an error. Why?
You didn't use intent.
If I just do it without indenting it, it's going to give me an error. Watch. Okay, by the way, there's another way to paste, but it's kind of tricky. I always forget. But you right click, and then it drops it in there, which is what I just did. Okay, now I don't think that this is not going to work. Okay, let me try it. No. Okay, I get this weird error. Down here, you read the last line of the error message, and you can kind of read backwards. But it says there's an indentation error. So when you get an error, you know, Python has to guess what you were trying to do, right? Because you didn't do it. So, you know, how does Python know what you were really trying to do if you didn't really do it? So it has to guess. So it guessed that I was trying to make an indentation and that I didn't do it. Okay? So we can't expect Python to be a genius and know what we meant if we put in an error. but it does try to make a guess and try to tell us where the error was. So it's telling me that there's an error at the print. Okay, let me try it again. If I hit the up arrow key, I get that, but that's not what I want. If I hit the up arrow key again, I get that, okay? And I'll hit enter. I'm gonna hit enter, just like before. Now what should I do?
Maybe you can use either space or tap for the indent.
Yeah, right. So I can, any indentation I think is okay. So you can hit, usually they recommend 4 spaces, you know, whatever, but you can use any indentation. So I'll do 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let me see if I can paste this still. Paste, what happens? Yeah. Okay, now maybe this will work. Now, I don't know what, you know, this is Python code. We don't know what it means, right? We didn't learn this yet. We don't know what it means. But at least we can know whether we get an error or not. Okay, if we get an error message, that means it didn't work. So otherwise, we can't really know if it worked right or not. But we can check to see if we're going to get an error message. So I'll hit enter. And it sort of worked, but not exactly what I wanted. So I don't know how to get it to do this. Let me try hitting enter again. Okay. Okay. So did it give me an error message?
No.
No. So, you know, we can say it worked probably, right? But we don't, you know, as I said, we don't know what this code means. So we don't really know if it worked the way we wanted, but it did not give us an error. So what's the point of what we just did?
Learning the importance of indentation.
Yeah, this example is about indentation. Okay, what's the point? That a certain code requires indentation. If this is related to this piece of code, then you have to have indentation. Now, I don't have to have indentation always. For example, if I do print, well, okay, I'll leave that for the moment. All right, so can anybody, what does this say here? What does that say?
If 5 is greater than 2.
Right.
5.
Does everyone see that? What does it say again? Somebody else read it?
If 5 is greater than 2.
Right. Is that, would you say that is true or not?
Yes, that's
Yes.
true.
Right. I think most of us would agree that 5 is greater than 2, right? So what this is really doing is, I mean, we didn't learn this yet. This is, you know, a few lessons down the road. But anyway, all they're trying to do here is tell us about indentation. But anyway, by the way, I said any indentation is okay, right? But yeah, that's true. But if you use 4, then you have to keep using 4 in the program. You can't use 4 one place and then 2 somewhere else and then 3 somewhere else. And no, you can't do that. You have to use the same indentation throughout the program. Okay, so any indentation is okay, but you have to be consistent throughout the program. All right, anyway, so if 5 is greater than 2, then print this. So is 5 greater than 2? Yes. So print this, and that's what happened, right? It printed 5 is greater than 2. So how can I change this so that it won't print whatever the print statement says? How can I change this so that it doesn't print the print statement? Because now it does. How can I change the code so that it doesn't print the print statement?
Just if the 5 is less than 2, we should change the
Okay.
statement.
So change this to what?
If 5 is less than 2.
Okay, if 5 is
Smaller
less than, oops. If 5 is less than 2. Okay, is 5 less than 2?
Print.
Not usually, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's not, most people wouldn't say it's less than 2, right? Okay, so let me try and hit. So now this is much more complicated Python code. We don't get to this until, next week or the week after, whatever. But anyway, let's do it. I think we can understand it, at least on an easy, in a simple way we can understand it. So, okay, so now what do I have to do?
Press tab and then print whatever statement you want.
Press what?
Tab.
Press tab or space or 2 spaces or 5 spaces, doesn't matter. Now, I said you have to do it the same, but actually here you don't have to do it the same because we're within, we sort of started we're basically starting a new session at each new prompt there, chevron prompt. Anyway, okay, so I'll do space. This time I'll just use 2. And then I'll type print, and I can type in anything here. No. Okay, print no. Okay, now what should I do now?
Press enter.
Press enter. And then I'm going to get the triple dot again because it's going to think I still want to continue. Okay, it doesn't know that I want to stop yet. So, okay, so it allows me to do something else. I can also do something else there, but I don't want to do anything else. So what should I do now?
Press enter again.
Press enter again. And what are we going to see?
Nothing.
0. We're not going to see anything, right? We're not going to see no. Why? Because the only time that print, now I said this is advanced. We haven't gotten to this yet. I'm just trying to go through it. The only time that print is going to run is if that other thing is true, and it's not true. Okay, so nothing happened. Okay, so that's a more advanced Python. We haven't gotten to that yet, but they're just talking about so here you can do the try it yourself. Here we tried it ourselves. You can put in anything else there and run it. And it prints, right? But you have to have, now if you don't have the indentation, now what's going to happen?
We run into error.
We're going to get an error. Why are we going to get an error?
Because no space.
You need the indentation in this case. And we didn't explain why this case. What does it mean, this case, right? We didn't make that clear yet. But anyway, you do need indentation. Oh, didn't give us an error here. Oh well. Anyway, it didn't do anything. But it should give us an error. So I don't know why it didn't. That's not so great because it's not actually what Python does. Okay, so it should have given us an error. But anyway, maybe the system isn't quite able to generate the error. But they do say, well, they say it does. Let's try it here. This one is supposed to give an error. Anyway, I don't know why the other one doesn't give an error, but now we see that same error again. And you read the error, usually I think it's better to read the error from the bottom. So it says indentation error. Now, how does it know that that's an indentation error? Maybe that's not what I meant. Maybe I didn't mean for it to be indented. So it could be wrong about it. It's guessing, right? It doesn't know because there's an error. So there's many possibilities for what I could have meant. It's guessing that I meant for there to be this kind of dependency between this and this. Anyway, okay, where are we now? We're at minute 157. Okay, so I think I should ask if there are any questions before we go, before we end.
Professor, I have a question.
Yeah.
I have two questions. Actually, the first one is, are we required to follow the Coursera or any other the resources you give us?
Well, I'm going to give you some, for example, I'm going to give you some to go through this one here, W3 Schools, go through a bunch of examples here like this. And then I'm going to say we're going to have a quiz next week based on that. So that will get you started on this tutorial. I'm also going to ask you to go through some of the Coursera, but I want to go together, to do it together in terms of installing Python. So I'm not going to ask you to go through that on your own. I don't think. I might change my mind tomorrow.
Okay. And my next question is, in the Coursera, the person who gave the course used the Atom course, code editor. Can we choose different course on the code editor?
Yeah, he says you can use any editor, but he says for his course, he's using Atom. So by the way, you know, editor, by editor, he means like in Microsoft Windows, you know, if I type in Word, we have a couple of different things. We have WordPad and we have Word. So these are editors. Now, Word is a very expensive editor, right? Word, you have to pay for it. But WordPad is free, but there's another one, by the way, it's called Word. Where is that? No, I don't want
Notepad?
that. What?
Isn't it Notepad?
Oh, sorry, Notepad, you're right. Notepad. So this is the simplest editor. So it doesn't have much stuff here. It just has a few things here, a few things here, a few, you know, nothing like Microsoft Word, right? Which has tons of stuff up here, right? So this is free, and you can type your program in here if you want and save it. If you save it with a .py at the end, that will work. But it's not really fun to do that. Now you can also use WordPad, and you can type your program there. And now this has a lot more stuff than that other one, than Notepad, but it doesn't have as much as Microsoft Word. Now you really can't use Microsoft Word to type your programs because that's going to screw everything up. Generally speaking, that won't work well. But this will work, I think. Well, yeah, this should basically work. But there are many other editors that you can get for free. For example, I used to use this thing called Notepad++ a lot. And you can download this for free here, Notepad++ for Windows. Now, I don't know why, but on this new computer I bought, it's crashing my computer a lot. Never happened before. So I just have to stop using it. But I really like this program. And you can type your programs in here. And then you can do what you can do here is you can select the language, go down to P and Python, and then it's going to type like when I type, I mean, it's going to color things. So if I type print, it changes it to blue, and I type hello, and it changes it to gray or whatever, right? Like that. So that's good. And it does that based on the fact that I chose Python. It's going to know, you know, to color it a certain way. And if it was a different language, it would do something else. So you can do that. But he doesn't recommend using this one. One of the reasons is that one that he recommends, which is called Atom, that works the same. I mean, the command, the way it looks is the same on Mac and on Windows. So if he wants to teach, you know, he doesn't have to say, oh, you do it like this on Mac and you do it like this on Windows and blah, 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 right? He can just say, you know, you just do it like this and it looks the same on whether you're using Mac or Windows or Linux. So he recommends that, that editor called Atom. So you can use that, it's good. Or you can use whatever you want. And we'll learn about other ones to use. Actually, when we install Python, we have an editor within Python, which is good.
Anaconda?
Not, what?
Is it Anaconda?
No, I mean, that's another thing you can do is use Anaconda. Anaconda is not an editor, it's a whole system. It has editors in it. But no, when you install Python, you get something called IDLE, which is another editor. And that we'll probably use that a lot. But in his course, he's going to use Atom. So you should probably install Atom so that you can follow along. Okay? So he shows you how to do that, but we're not going to do that today. All right? So I will come up with some homework for you to do for next week so that you can get started. One of the homework is going to be working with this tutorial here. And you'll find that it's very easy when you do this tutorial because they don't ask you to do anything hard. They just say, you know, this is how you do this, this is how you do that. But they don't really ask you to think about putting statements together to build something. They just teach you what the statements are. But then, you know, you want to build, oh, I forgot, I didn't get to do all this. But going back to here, I know we're supposed to be finished, but let me just show you very quickly. So here I give you a whole lot of sites. And one thing that we'll be able to do at the end of this, course, maybe I'll ask you to do something like this for a project.
I hate reading, and that's why I just...
It's a little too easy, this one, but he teaches you how to use Python to read a PDF with narration using Python. Now, it turns out that you can probably do that with Acrobat. You don't need Python, but he teaches you how to do that. And then, so that's kind of fun. That's in this, in here, and it's very simple to do. It's only 7 lines of code, he says. And then another one that I have here is a bunch of lectures that I made about how to scrape a web page. So one thing you can do with that, and then I'm going to end. One thing you can do with that is, you know, at Amazon, you know, you might want to find some product, and if it falls below a certain price, you might want to be alerted, right? Right? So you can use this kind of code that I teach in this tutorial to have a program that goes out and checks Amazon's a particular product, a particular page, and collects the data from that. And in particular, it can collect the entire data, all of it, the reviews, everything. But in particular, you could collect the price, and every day you could, or every hour, you could have it go out, check the price, and then send you a message maybe or something, you know, when the price drops below a certain point. You can do that in Python. So you can read web pages, collect their data, store it, and use that in lots of different ways, not just to collect a price, but you could do many different things with that data. So there's so many things you can do with Python. Okay, so anyway, that's time for us to go. So I'll pay attention to Manaba, and I'll give you some communication through Manaba. Okay, goodbye.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay, have fun with Python.
Thank you, Professor.